Hi guys, it's Brennan from Pantaktica. Thank you very much for joining me tonight on this free online video. I just want to go over, while we're waiting for a couple of people to come online, I just want to go over a couple of things that is coming up for events for us. First of all, tomorrow night is our grand opening for Thai boxing. It is in the Ipswich area, west of Brisbane, but even anyone from Brisbane can come along and join in. 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, Thursday afternoon, Ipswich Knights Football Club Clubhouse, which is on Brisbane Street at Bundamba. So that's tomorrow night. Come along, first session. Just a reminder also that every Monday night, we've been doing this since the start of the year, we have JKD, Junfan, Kali and Salat classes, and tonight we're going over some Kali stuff. So the stuff that you see here tonight is the stuff that is delivered on Monday night. So that's Monday nights, also at the same place, Ipswich Knights Football Club Clubhouse at Bundamba. That's from 7 to 8. In a couple of weeks' time, on the 22nd of June, I'm going to run a special 2-hour class on the stuff that we're doing in this video session, and I'll expand further to make it practical and do some extra drills so you actually get really good at it. So we're going to be going over stick and knife stuff at the same time. And I just want to bring up as well that I have online classes that are there. There's Pantaktica online courses. That's all about threat assessments, being able to detect danger in your environment by reading body language in the environment. It's self-defense stuff that never gets taught, and it's something that I think everybody should know. Kids, teachers, people traveling, police, defense, it's all there. It's all good for you. Jump online, www.pantaktica.com. Also, online courses are in MindGuard. MindGuard is not only mental fitness, but mental self-defense. It's something that's very much overlooked. We have psychologists and psychiatrists and things like that that are really good. Once you've fallen or once you've had that breakdown, this is strengthening stuff that'll help you to defend yourself against attacks online. It'll help you against social media. It'll help you against the media. It'll help you against people in your workplace and that. Defend yourself, become stronger in mind, become a better person. And the last thing is that I also have combat art sessions, similar to what you're going to see tonight, but a lot more in depth and a lot more structured. At the moment, there's 2 classes. One's on there about all of the Kali and Junfan footwork. There's also a masterclass in the jab. Just about to drop is a masterclass in the cross. And I'm also going to do a self-defense package on the choke. As for those that do BJJ, you know the choke is a really effective tool to win any sort of combat situation. Very underrated. Not many defenses are really spoken about it, and I'd like to be able to show you my top 10 defenses against a stand-up choke. So look out for that coming online. Okay, so welcome to tonight's class. What we're going to be going over is stick and knife. So I've got my stick and my knife here. So what I've got is a cane. Can be any stick. I do recommend for our classes that you use a rattan or a cane type stick, which this one here is. And the reason for that is that if you strike it enough, these tend to fray. Whereas if you have oak or hardwood type, broom handle type sticks, they can actually break, splinter, and throw bits into your eyes and stuff, and it's just not good for safety. So for training purposes, get something like this. And what I've got here is just a training knife. It's just a bit of foam in the shape of a knife. Yep. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your stick in your preferred hand. For me, I'm right-handed, so it's in my right hand. Your knife is going to be in your left hand. And the reason we have the stick in our preferred or our strongest hand is just that. It's your strongest hand has the greatest reach. It's the one you're going to use the most. The weapon that's longest is the one you're going to use the most, okay, in self-defense. Distance is always good, right? For knife, you're going to hold it in what we call the earth grip, which is how it is right now. It's pointing towards the sky, so that's what we call the heaven grip. There is alternative for the earth grip, which is the one I'm showing you now, which is pointed down towards the ground, i.e. earth, heaven, and then earth. And what we're going to be going over is predominantly you're going to be in this heaven grip, stick held like this, heaven grip. And we're going to be using the top 5 strikes that are used in the Kali system. But what I also find is that they are the top 5 strikes that someone will use if they've never had any sort of stick or knife training before, and if anyone picks it up, they're generally going to probably use one of these 5, and that is angle 1 is shoulder to hip. This could be straight down, but shoulder to hip on the backhand side, hip to hip, and the stab. Exactly the same on the knife and the heaven grip. Shoulder to hip, hip to hip, and the stab. And the only extra one that is very popular is in that earth grip, which is the the psycho, the ice pick type stab. What I find, this looks really good on photos and looks really good on movies and things like that. But honestly, if you've ever used a knife, you are restricted to probably 1/10 of the amount of strikes you could do in the heaven grip, right? That's probably the main one, but anything else gets really hard to be able to do because your arm's not built that way, right? As opposed to the heaven grip, you can do a lot of different strikes and maneuvers, and it works very well with the ergonomics of your body. So in a self-defense situation, if someone comes at me with a knife like that, I'm going to be more worried about that person than I am if a person comes at me like that, because I know they're going to be restricted in what they can do. Right, so now we've got the stick and knife held in these 2 hands. I'm going to bring in my training partner, which is Boyd. He's going to say hello.
Hello.
So Boyd is going to be holding the stick and the knife, the dagger, in the same configuration that I am. And remember, this is just a progression, and it's drills at the moment, right? So I'm just trying to get you into the position where you can use a stick and knife at the same time. And if you realistically think about it, if someone attacks you with a stick and knife at the same time is not impossible, but it's probably highly unlikely. I'm actually unaware of anyone ever being attacked with a stick and knife at the same time. However, it probably has happened in the Philippines where this art originates from. So I'm unaware of it. If you know something, post something online, let me know about it. It'd be great to hear. But think of this as an art. It's a progression. Think of it also as, just in case, right? So now the person comes at me. He's got a stick and knife in his hand, but he is going to attack me just with the stick to start with, and I'm going to use my stick to defend his stick in those 5 angles. So he comes at me with an angle 1, and all I'm going to do, and I have a couple of different options here. One is that I can go stick to stick, right? What can happen with stick to stick, and this is a case where in all martial arts, not everything works all the time. Sorry, wildlife outside. But everything will work sometimes, but not work all the time. Doesn't matter what it is, right? So in this case, when the strike comes in, that can happen, which you can just see there, which is where the stick actually can move back, which means now Boy can hit me with a second strike coming in, right? If I don't stop the stick, right? The other thing is that if I go past, that strike could possibly come past. So you have to be very vigilant that if it's stick or stick, it's hard or hard. There's a bouncing factor to worry about. You have other options. You don't have to go stick on stick. You can go on the hand. What can happen on the hand is more than likely he's going to drop it, but the stick might continue going along in its current motion, which might be towards your face. So you've got to be aware of that. You can also go on the arm, and deadening the arm will mean that he'll drop the stick as well. Okay. Now, I've said it before in previous videos, if you watch my Facebook and Instagram posts, but with a stick, and I guess to a certain extent the knife, this is where it hurts the most. Most people will try and hit with a stick with the top 1/4 to 1/3 of the stick. So this here, and I've got it up against my face, hurts a lot, and it's where it's intended to strike me. But as I go further down the stick, it's not going to hurt as much, and now I'm inside where the arm is, where the stick is not going to hit me at all, right? So hurts a lot, doesn't hurt as much, doesn't hurts less, okay? Where it doesn't hurt you at all is when you're just outside of where matter connects, right? Matter shouldn't occupy the same space at the same time. So you either need to be out or you either need to be in, or at least not in this area, okay? So now, when the strike comes in, he's going to, and I've got to have my knife up as well, is for the purposes of this, I'm going to go stick on stick. So stick on stick there. He's now going to do the angle 2. I'm going to do stick on stick there. He's going to do angle 3, stick and stick there. And we're going to do angle 4, stick on stick there. And you're going to do angle 5 and stick and stick there. Now you'll notice that I'm moving my body so that I'm zoning myself away from the actual stick itself. So even if I miss with a stick for some reason, I'm at a little bit more of an advantage than if I just stood there and tried to hit it with a stick. Okay, so any movement's good. So now we've done stick and stick. I'm going to keep using my stick, but still have the knife. Now my training partner is going to use the same 5 strikes on me, but he's going to use the knife, right? So now as he comes in with an angle 1, I'm using my stick. Now I have the same options that I had before, and that I can go stick on the knife. However, what will probably happen is that he'll skim past that and continue along its line. The other option is that I hit it on the hand. What can happen then is he'll probably drop the knife, but the knife will keep going in its current direction, or I can strike on the arm, and that could cause him to drop the knife as well, and it also could mean that the knife might fly out. It's probably less likely to come towards you than it is towards the hander, right? Remember, it's a drill. We're just putting it all together. Don't overthink it. So if angle 1 comes in again, I'm using angle 1. As it comes in, I'm going to block. The next one comes in, angle 2, and I'm going to block. Angle 3 comes in, I'm going to block. Angle 4 comes in, I'm going to block. Angle 5 comes in, I'm going to block. Now just remember, if you go back to my previous YouTube clip that I did probably about 6 or 9 months ago, and when we're talking about stick defenses, go back and watch it. One of the stick defenses, and it can be used against a stick or knife, and that is when you're using a stick yourself, is when you're using your stick to hit him on his limb. So as the strike comes in, you would simply step back so you're out of the way, and you would strike on his limb, and you might do it on the backhand and forehand, depending on how the strike comes in. Watch the video, you'll catch up on it there. Right, so now what we've done is I've used the stick to deflect his stick and his knife. Now I'm going to use my knife. Remember, I'm just getting used to using the stick, now the knife, then I'm going to put them together. So now, as he comes in with a stick, I have a knife. This is not ideal in a real-life situation, yep, but I'll talk about it a little bit more in a minute. But what we have is blade on stick. As you can imagine, that knife is not going to be strong enough. If he's hitting strong enough, this is going to come through and it's still probably going to hit me, right? So I have still those options, stick or knife, hand on knife, arm on knife, right? But he can still turn and still hit me, right? So you just have to be aware of it. Remember, it's a drill. We're coming back to it. So if he comes in with the angle 1 again, and we have the stick up, and we just use the knife to deflect, to stop, to block, he comes in with the angle 2. I might use it on the wrist this time. Angle 3, angle 4, and then angle 5. Right? So now we've done stick on stick, stick on knife, knife on stick, and now we're going to do knife on knife. Right? So now as he comes in, exactly the same, angle 1. My options are knife on knife. Probably highly unlikely that anyone will have the dexterity to be able to deflect knife on knife, like sword on sword. So hand, more likely is arm, bigger muscle group, easier to defend against, but you have this sort of problem, okay? So just to be aware of. So as he comes in with the angle 1, I block, angle 2, and you'll notice that I'm blocking and then cutting, not at the same time, because the strike will still come through. Block, then use the knife. Yep, as it comes through, block, cut, so now I'm cutting his wrist, block, cut, as it comes in, block, and cut. Cool. Right, so the next thing is going to be, he's going to use his stick only. I'm going to use my stick and knife. So same 5 techniques. He comes in with the angle 1, and now there's a slight difference here in that I'm crossing over the hands. I won't stick on stick because it's hard on hard. I'm using the knife either on his arm, in this case for training purposes, I'm using it on his wrist. Yep, remember it's a flow on, we're just progressing. So as the angle 1 comes in again, we can block it. Angle 2 comes in, and we block it. Angle 3 comes in, and we block it. Remember, it's crossed over on this side. Angle 4, we block it, and angle 5 comes in. Now, if you watch my Facebook and Instagram, you'll see that only about a week ago I went over stick up and stick down defenses. This is where I said before, these techniques are relying on the fact that you've done some stick stuff and you've done some knife stuff independently. We're just starting to put them together now, right? So now he's done stick, and I've done stick and knife. He's now going to do knife, and I'm going to use stick and knife. So now as the angle 1 comes in, we're crossing over on this side now. So now you've got the stick on the arm, and now you've got the knife on the hand. The number 2 angle comes in. It's now knife on the wrist and stick on the forearm. 3 could be stick on the knife and the arm. It's just where it happens to be in a real life combat situation. you're not really going to be able to know. You're just sticking the knife and the stick up, right? So now as that strike comes in, you're striking here. Notice I'm moving to get out of the line of the attack. Now, what we've done is stick on stick, stick on knife, knife on stick, knife on knife, knife and stick against stick, knife and stick against knife. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting that all together, and we're going to start doing it so that there is a couple of attacks at a time, and you're going to go backwards and forwards, and we'll just demonstrate it doing it once. You can practice this in your own time. So now as Boyd comes in just with the stick on this occasion, he's going to do any 3 of those 5 techniques. So as he comes in, and all I'm going to simply do is I'm going to zone and I'm going to deflect. And I'm going to deflect. There's the angle 3, and then there's the angle 4 there. So, and then once that's happened, I'm going to do the same back with him. So he's going to use stick and knife, and I'm going to come at him with the stick in any one of those angles. And all it is him moving his body out of the way and using his stick and knife to make an impact on my body. Okay? Now we've done 3. We're going to ramp it up a little bit more. So you can do that with the knife too. So if we do 3 with 3 movements with a knife, I've done a block with the knife there, a block with the knife there, and a block with the knife there, and then I do the same thing. So now Boyd has a go. Here's one angle, there's another angle, and here's another angle. And he's done 3 blocks on me. Now we'll reduce that from 3 to 2. So he just uses his stick, and we do 2 now, and then I do 2, and we just feed each other doing that, and then he would do 2. Once you've got that, then you go 1 for 1. So now you're doing I attack, he attacks, I attack, he attacks, I attack, he attacks, and you're just starting to get that movement and that pace starting to pick up to be able to figure out where the attack's coming from and be able to respond to it. Right now we're doing just stick, so he comes in with 1 attack, and I do my double, and I come in with a technique. He now comes in with another stick technique, I do 1, and then I do another 1. And we go backwards and forwards like that. Now he does knife, whoever is attacking does just the knife. Whoever's doing the defending uses both. So now he comes in with a knife technique, I'll block. Then I come in with a knife technique and blocks. He comes in with another knife technique, and I block. And then I come in with a knife technique and he blocks. And you keep going like that. You're zoning out of the way, you're picking up whatever the attack is, and using your stick and knife to defend yourself. Now, we've done it with 3, we've done it with 2, we're doing it with 1. Now we're going to add the end bit of it, which is you retaliating against the other person who has now come at you with one of those 2. And let's add in the bit where it is not just stick, that it's going to be stick. It's not going to be just knife. Now it could be knife and it could be stick, or it could be any combination. Let's do 2. Let's do 2. So he can use any stick out of those 5, any stick and any knife in any order that he wants. In fact, let's do it by 3. So he comes at me with 3 techniques. There's a stick, there's another stick, and he might come at me with a knife. And all I'm doing is that, right? So, sorry, that's probably the next evolution, is that he's done 3 attacks, then I'll do 3 attacks of anything. Yep. So all we're working on is that movement, his deflection, and him being able to detect what those attacks look like. Once we've got that, now we start adding on our retaliation to it, which is successful, right? So now he's going to come with me. Let's do it with 3s, and you can do it with 2s, you can do it with 1s. He now comes at me with any 3 techniques, and I deflect. So as it comes in, there's the knife, comes in with the stick, and comes in with the knife. Now I'm going to use any 3 techniques that I want, or any set of techniques that I want. In this case, I might use the abanicos to the head and then strike down, as an example. All your partner needs to do is just take a step back so that I can actually use the technique and not actually hit him and hurt him and then not be able to train anymore, right? So now once he's attacked me, I'll now attack him with 3 different techniques randomly. So he just defends, and now he defends, and then I step back and he does any 3 techniques that he wants to with either stick or knife. And then you would do 2, and then you would do 1. So if we do 2, he does 2 attacks to me. Yep, and there, and then I might any sort of 3 techniques, and then it might be my go, where I go, and he defends and learns from when it doesn't work, and then he does his attack. Cool. And now we go 1 for 1. So now I attack him, he attacks me, and then I might do some sort of defense, right? Then I might attack him, and then he attacks me back and does 3 or 4 techniques. Now you can go backwards and forwards. You can do movement forwards and backwards. You can do around and over things and around things. Try it in a car. Try it, in your bedroom and or sitting on a toilet. However, wherever you want to try it. The world is your oyster. And this can also go into things that are disarms. Watch that last YouTube video. And as an example, if he comes in, he does 3 techniques. So he comes in with 3, and he ends in a stick. So he comes in and does a stick. I've now got something here where I can possibly, do a disarm. And now I've got that stick. Now you can drop that stick out. Now all he has is a knife, right? So now I'll attack him, and he does a deflection, because remember we did stick or knife, so he might come in, so he's not out too far, and I come in for my second technique, and now he deflects it and then does something else to me, and then I've lost my stick. Now we're doing knife on knife, right? So now you might switch hands, and now you've got in your right hand is your knife, and now he does a technique to me where he comes at me, and I might, do a deflection, pick that out, cut, and now I've got a knife, and then I come at him with something, and he deflects it, and then he does some technique to me, which makes me lose my knife, and now it's open hand. Now it's here, so now he throws punches at me, and I'm doing some sort of wrist lock to bring him onto the ground, which goes into grappling, which goes into other things, and this is how the progression works within this art. It's one of the few systems that I know of that you can easily go in and out of a range of combat and varieties of different combat and a variety of different weapons that I've seen with any other style. A lot of them tend to specialize in one or the other and touch on other things. This is the most complete art that I'm aware of, and I'd like to share it with you. Thank you so much for watching me tonight. I hope you've got a little bit out of it, even if it's just to watch it and see how the system works in what I would call probably an intermediate sort of range of techniques. If you're available, come and see me on Monday nights and come and do some training. The more people we have, the better it is. It's great to see different ages, sexes, sizes, abilities, different arts coming in and going, oh, I want to learn some stick, but I've learned a little bit before or something like that. It's good to see what other people think. The greatest learning you can ever get from anyone is from a beginner, because they have no concept of what they're doing. They're not stylized already, and they come up with random things, and it's great training for everybody. Great learning environment. I hope to see you there on Monday. Thank you very much, everybody. Catch you later.